Hey guys, we're Tim and Katie and we're super excited to show you guys our newest van conversion.
This van has a ton of new features. Come on inside and let's check it out.
This is a 2023 high roof extended length Ford Transit. It's all-wheel drive and has the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine. The first thing you see when you step into the van is our 24 by 32 inch wet bath. So we have the shower as well as our pull-out composting toilet. So up top, the low flow shower head creates nice pressure but also conserving water. And then we have our niche with 2 bars holding conditioner and soap and all of that in place while you're driving. Coming down low, you'll see this gasketed hatch. These are 3D printed little handles to make it easier to turn the knobs and open it all up. It originally comes with little handles that you have to use a screwdriver to open, so this makes it a lot easier. This Cuddy composting toilet is on 500-pound drawer slides, so it locks open as well as locks closed. Opens just like that. We love choosing this composting toilet for a wet bath because it can slide right under this dinette seat, saving space and also making the shower area very functional when you're not even showering. Another great thing about this toilet, which makes it usable for this design, is that the agitator is actually on the front, so it doesn't take up extra space on the sides. It's also very easy to pull up this area to get to the emptying components. There's a little light here that also tells you when it's time to dump the urine. Now I'll show you how to use it. Now open that up, climb inside, unlock that guy. And there we go. We also installed a waterproof toilet paper holder in here. It rolls up the extra paper, keeps it all dry in there. The last feature in our wet bath is a retractable clothesline that just comes from this side, clips to the other side, tighten it in place, and then you're good to go using it as a clothesline. In terms of construction, the walls are made of sheet vinyl flooring, making it waterproof and light. Height-wise, inside here is about 6'3", so good for tall people to use as well. And then you'll notice this gap here, we designed that so that steam can easily be sucked out by the MaxxAir fan. Finally, we chose the Nautilus retractable shower door. We love that it's small, lightweight, and self-cleaning. First thing you'll notice is a large kitchen area. We prioritize having a lot of space to meal prep, cook, make it comfortable for cleanup as well. So we have a deep sink. It's a 15 by 20 Kraus stainless steel sink and faucet. Under the sink, we have a water filter, so the cold side is always filtered. Also at the sink is a soap dispenser and the on-off switch for the water pump. We love that it is illuminated, so you don't forget to turn it off before you leave the van to prevent any big accidents from happening. This van has a 34-gallon freshwater tank, which supplies the sink, the shower, and the outdoor shower. And then the sink and the shower both drain to a 20-gallon Graywater tank mounted on the driver's side under the van. The fridge is a NovaKool R4500 12-volt fridge that's got a lot of storage for refrigerator items and then a top area for freezer items. Moving back here, we have a 2-burner induction cooktop. You'll notice that we don't have any propane in this van, so all of our appliances are powered by our 800 amp hour battery. Another added bonus of using an induction cooktop is it doesn't give off as much heat into the van as it would if you were to use propane. The other cooking option in this van is the Brava Smart Oven. There's tons of cooking options when you're using it. The Brava can be used as a toaster, air fryer, regular oven, etc., so you have lots of options on what to cook when you're on the road. The Brava is meant to be used with the drawer in open position. This ensures sufficient airflow around the entire oven. With this being a large kitchen, there's also a lot of storage. So starting at the front here, we have our signature push-to-open pantry. Lots of storage for spices, canned goods, jars, things like that, and it makes very good space of what might otherwise be an awkward area. The reason we designed the kitchen in this way with the 45-degree corner is because the shower is quite wide. So if this were a regular 90-degree corner, it would be super narrow and you would guarantee bump your hip a million times a day. Under the sink, we also have a good chunk of storage. We obviously have a garbage can, But we also designed the plumbing with storage in mind. So we chose a HEPA valve, which is an inline P-trap. Takes up less space than a regular P-trap, and it still prevents smells from coming up from the gray tank. This is the utensil drawer. It's got a custom insert to allow space for your knives, forks, spoons, and it prevents it from rattling all over the place. Finally, we have 2 more drawers for storage. So this one's up top, and then this bottom one is quite deep for pots and pans, things like that. In the kitchen, we also have 2 upper cabinets, which, like everything else in the van, is built out of Baltic birch. These are 1/2-inch Baltic birch, and the face are 5/8 Baltic birch. They have slam latches to keep things closed during travel, and gas struts to keep things up when you're finding your supplies.
Here at the rear of the van, we have our fixed bed. So it's a full queen length and about 57 inches wide. The only way we were able to get 80 inches of length is with the capsules on the outside of the van, which add a total of 6 inches to overall van width. In each capsule, we installed CRL half slider bunk windows, and that allows good airflow not only across the bed, but also up through the fan. We utilize the space at the front of the bump outs to house our air conditioning vents. These are louvered and can be open and closed and redirected as you wish, as well as a little mini control panel. So that includes our bump out light, heated floor switch, and then USB charging both at the front and at the rear. To touch on the heated floors, they run in this main hallway here. We like having them on an on-off switch, so first thing in the morning when you wake up, you can flip them on, and by the time your feet hit the floor, they're toasty warm. We like the illuminated switch so that we don't leave it on unnecessarily. But keep in mind, the heated floors aren't to actually heat the van. They're just for the comfort of having warm feet. Guys, arguably my favorite feature in this van, this hidden drop-down projector screen. This setup is super comfortable because I can just lean back against this wall and stretch out in front of the projector screen. And then if I shut off the bump out and overhead lights, the quality of the projector on the screen is just fantastic. In the corner here, we have the Xgimi MOGO 2 Pro projector. So it's quite compact. It draws 65 watts. So I have a little USB-C tucked up in the corner there, and it's controlled fully by this remote. The really cool thing with this projector is you can run it as a speaker only. So it provides really high quality sound to the van, even if you don't even want to put the projector screen down. You might be thinking this is an all-wheel drive van, but you have a projector hanging here. It's pretty solid, but if you're really going to go off-roading, you simply pull that tab, unplug it, put it in the drawer. Lastly, in the bed area, we have our new custom door panels. So to make these, I took a 3D scan of the door, drew it out, and then cut it on the CNC, so they are a perfect fit, and we find they make the van feel way more homey by covering up the sheet metal of the doors.
This is the dinette area. We have mounted a piece of butcher block counter to match the kitchen area. As you can see, it is floating, so there are no table legs to worry about. You can easily swing your legs in and out and have enough room for people to sit across from each other. The reason we went with a floating setup instead of a removable one is because the table is very sturdy, so you can easily put 2 laptops and not have the table be wiggly or anything like that. Also in this area, we have a 120 volt outlet and 2 USB charging ports. And because the dinette is raised a little bit, there's hidden storage underneath for smaller items like laptops or shoes. Under this seat, we have a lock and additional storage for some larger items down there.
For internet in this van, we have the Peplink MaxxAir BR1 Pro 5G router. This is the primary internet source in this van. So it uses a cellular data SIM card and the Peplink Mobility 7-in-1 antenna on the roof. And basically anywhere there's good cell service, you will have high-speed internet. As a secondary internet source, we're using Starlink. So that plugs directly into the Peplink router and is available on the same Wi-Fi network. We wanted to mount the Starlink so it was fixed on the roof, so we designed and 3D printed our own flat mount so that we could mount it directly on top of the storage box. I also converted the Starlink to run on 12 volt power so I could eliminate the factory Starlink router, as well make sure that we didn't have to run the inverter when we wanted to use Starlink. The nice thing with this is we just flip the switch on the control panel, turn Starlink on, and we can even use it while we're driving.
In terms of lighting, we have 5 zones. The first is the overhead light area that can be controlled with an on-off switch in the kitchen area, and then there's a dimmer on the back area. Then we also have these 2 kitchen lights on an on-off switch here, and the dinette has its own on and off switch, and the shower has its on-off switch, as well as the bump outs.
Here we have the control panel, which is really the brains of the van. We custom designed and cut this out of acrylic. We designed it to fit each of these components specifically. At the top, we have the 12-volt Undermount Air Conditioning thermostat. The neat thing with it is that it can be controlled remotely, so when you're away from the van, you can both monitor and change the temperature anytime. Next is the S-Bar Easy Start thermostat for the heater. Next, we have the Simarine PICO monitoring system. So this is really cool because it allows us to see exactly what's happening with our battery bank, how much energy we're bringing in or how much we're using. We have sensors on our freshwater and graywater tanks, so this system allows us to monitor those from the controller. And then we can monitor pitch and roll, so when you're parking the van, you can know if you're on uneven ground. Next, we have the switch for our graywater electronic ball valve. So if we turn this switch on, the ball valve will begin to open and the tank will start dumping. On the end here, we have the on-off switch for the 12-volt converted Starlink. And finally, we have our Gopower inverter charger remote. So this basically allows us to turn the inverter and the charger on and off.
Above the cab area, we installed our Vanspeed headliner shelf like we always do, and this is a great spot to store the window covers and any other like maps or trinkets or anything you want near the cab. We made these custom window covers for all of the windows in the van. They have ripstop nylon on the outside, then Havelock Wool and Easy Cool, and then we sewed in magnets on the periphery so we can just easily snap them on. So super easy to pop on, and they're great for sound deadening, privacy, and insulation. Finally, at the front, we also installed a shower curtain rod, which has a privacy curtain, a little bit of insulation as well, but mostly for privacy. When the lights are on in here, you don't want everyone to see into the van.
We installed the swivel on the passenger seat, and we like it because we find it opens up the space. We also put an Eberspacher M2 B4L heater underneath the passenger seat. This is the larger 4 kilowatt heater, and it has no problem heating this extended length transit. This is a gasoline heater, so it taps directly into the fuel tank of the van, and because it's a gasoline heater, we make sure to have a smoke and carbon monoxide detector on board. For general safety, we also have a fire extinguisher mounted just behind the driver's seat. For the exterior lighting, we installed this aux-beam 6-switch controller. We like it because you can also control it remotely from your phone via Bluetooth or push the buttons right here while you're driving. Now I'll show you the exterior lights. We really went all out on this Transit for full 360-degree lighting. So at the front here, we have the Baja Designs LP6s. We went with amber color for more of a fog light. Up top, we have a 52-inch aux-beam light bar, and I custom designed that wind fairing so the light bar would fit precisely inside of it. And I'm happy to report it does not whistle at all on the highway. We mounted the Baja Designs lights on the CA-tuned front bumper. And we also added a Warn VR Evo 12S winch with the synthetic rope, which is super nice. This thing works great and obviously it makes it look pretty beastly. Lastly, we added the Ford Transit Raptor grille. This thing is a huge performance ad. Just kidding, it's just for looks, but great aesthetic. Then we went with a 12-volt LED strip under the awning for some ambient lighting and 5 bright source LED area lights for the remaining perimeter of the van for full 360-degree coverage.
Another huge upgrade that we feel really helps with the aesthetic is upgrading the tires and wheels. So on the outside, we have the Falcon Rubitrek tires. These are the 245/75 R16s. And we mounted those onto the black Rhino Arsenal rims.
We also made a number of suspension upgrades to the van, the main being the Transit Off-Road 2-inch lift kit. This comes with the adjustable lower control arms and the Bilstein B6s for the front. Then we added super springs and sumo springs in the rear and the coil sumo springs in the front. This, with the bigger tires, added around 3.5 inches of lift to the van, and it kept the stock 1-inch rake, that being the back, it's 1 inch higher than the front. With the added weight of the build, these suspension upgrades have made a huge difference in reducing sway during cornering and windy conditions.
With the added height from the lift, we decided to go with the Owl Van's side steps. We installed these Vanspeed shop capsules on both the driver's side and the passenger side, giving us extra length to our bed as we chatted about inside. These were paint matched by a local shop, and we think they did such a good job matching to the factory paint. Not only do we love the body lines on these capsules, but they're also the deepest on the market. We installed a Thule hideaway awning. It is 10 feet long and it comes out 8 feet when fully deployed. We like this one because it is easy to retract and deploy, and it creates a nice space in front of the van to hang out, especially with that LED strip that we installed. We positioned it such that it would cover as much of the sliding door as possible while not sticking out forward past the roof rack.
Now let's head to the back of the van. We've got a bunch of accessories back here. First, we have the Rover van's ladder and tire carrier, which holds our full-size spare. We've got that on a lock as well. And then on this side, we have the Rover van's accessory rack and expedition box. It's watertight and has tons of room to store whatever exterior items you want that you don't want to have getting the inside of the van dirty. And then mounted on top, we have two of these couette rack trays, and they're extremely solid, easy to use. I'm really impressed at how easy it is to get bikes on and off. You just pull this lever, that takes down that side, and we're good to go. Keep in mind I am 6'2", so I might have a little bit easier time than shorter people, but still very doable, because thankfully you can mount these fairly low on those door racks. So to put the bike back on, put it on the tray, and then these just ratchet tight. Go to the back side. And there you go.
Now I'll show you guys the Graywater setup on this van. So the hose is kept in this cylinder down here, so we keep the smells out of the van. We installed a heavy-duty quick connect on the end of the electric ball valve, which allows us to plug in the 1-inch hose and run it to the dumping area.
Now let's head up to the roof. So up on the roof of the van, we have 9 100-watt solar panels, a custom storage box at the rear, our flat-mounted Starlink, our MaxxAir fan, and the Peplink Mobility 7-in-1 antenna. I designed this roof rack and had a local fabricator make it for me. I designed it so that the solar panels and the box would fit perfectly. The clients wanted an extra enclosed storage space on the roof, so we designed and fabricated this aluminum storage box. The really cool thing is that the flat-mounted Starlink can articulate with the lid of the box. So you can go off like that. We can see that it's fully waterproof inside. I added this little cable on the side so that it stays open. You don't have to worry about it hitting the Starlink cable or the roof itself. And this is a massive box. You can fit a ton of extra stuff in this box, and it has a padlock on the end for security. The cool thing with this Rover van's accessory rack and the bike trays on top is that it still allows us to access the passenger door latch. So we put a little extension in here, and then the whole unit swings outward. Pretty sick. Same thing on this side, obviously the ladder and tire carrier. The door still swings right open without any issue. So this is the garage area, and basically all of the electrical components are on the driver's side, and all the water tank and the pump and the outdoor shower is on the passenger side. In the middle, we added this large storage drawer. We find this to be a great use of space in an otherwise unutilized area. We wanted the face to be flush here, so we added these little hidden levers. So you can pull open, and this entire drawer is actually removable. There's just these latches on each side. You pull those, and you can pull the whole thing out, and then conversely put it back in. It is mounted on 300-pound drawer slides, and they are fully removable, which is quite rare for heavy-duty drawer slides like this. Now that we have the drawer, we can put the drawer slides back. So on the passenger side of the van, we have our fresh water tank fill port, our Aqua quick connect, and outdoor shower fixture. Really cool thing with this quick connect, we have our outdoor shower head. You just lift up, place, and twist, and now that's in. Then we can use the suction cup on the door. Suction, and there's our outdoor shower. The cool thing with this is you could feed it through the side of the door and place it on the side of the van up there, so you can shower on the side. Behind these sliding doors, we have the 34-gallon freshwater tank, our blowout valve up top, and then our freshwater hose for filling the tank. Then behind the back doors, we have our 4-gallon hot water tank and our 12-volt Undermount air conditioning. On the driver's side, we have a 110 outlet, and that's controlled with the on-off switch via the inverter. And then we have our under garage lighting, LED strips, and airflow for the inverter. So we have our Gopower 3000-watt inverter charger. This unit has a built-in charger which allows us to plug into shore power on the outside of the van. We have our Volthium 400 amp hours lithium self-heated batteries. We have 2 of them, so 800 amp hours at 12 volts total, roughly 10 kilowatt hours. Volthium batteries are really high quality, and we like that they come with a 10-year warranty. We designed this van to be 4-season capable, so it was important to us that the batteries are self-heating. Lithium phosphate batteries typically can't be charged below freezing, so with the self-heating feature, we don't have to worry about this. We have the Simarine shunt and our 110 volt breaker panel. And now at the front portion of the electrical area, we have the Gopower 60 amp solar charge controller, our master on-off switch, our BlueSea 12-volt fuse block, solar high voltage breakers, so 800 watts are on the larger breaker and the single 100 watt panel is on its own breaker, as well as our CTEK alternator charging system. Thankfully the Ford Transit comes stock with a 250 amp alternator, and this allows us to draw a high charge current up to around 120 amps anytime the vehicle is running, and this allows us to charge our house batteries extremely quickly. And at the front of the van on the passenger side, we have our 4-gallon hot water tank and our 12-volt Undermount air conditioning evaporator. So this is a really cool air conditioning unit in that the condenser and compressor are mounted underneath the van, and the evaporator is mounted inside the van, as well as our 3 ducting runs that are distributed throughout the van. This allows us to save space on the roof that would traditionally be used for a roof-mounted air conditioning unit, and instead fill it with solar. You might be thinking that those parts mounted underneath the vehicle aren't going to last, but they're rated for the same wear and tear and road abuse as anything else underneath your vehicle. If you live in an area with road salt, it is recommended that you occasionally go underneath and spray off those components, just like you would with your vehicle's underbody. In terms of power usage, this air conditioning system draws 1200 watts on the high setting and 900 watts on the low setting, which is neat because we have 900 watts of solar on the roof, so technically on a bright sunny day, we can run this air conditioning entirely off of solar.
That wraps it up. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This van holds a special place in our heart as Levi was with us from start to finish. And we're so happy that we have a nice, reliable supervisor.
If you have any feedback or questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer them. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye!
See you on the next one.